Hi, I'm Nurse Mark, and I'm here with Daddy Brad and Daddy Clay, and we're here to play a game called Should I Stay or Should I Go? Now, these gentlemen are real dads, and real dads are faced with situations where Junior is sick or has a cut, and do we take care of this at home or do we go to the hospital? So I'm gonna give these gentlemen real life questions, and they're gonna tell me whether or not they're gonna go to the hospital or they're gonna stay at home. Gentlemen, you ready to play?
I'm ready. We've got our three colored bottles here. Red, staying at home. Yellow, watching very carefully. And green, we're going. We're going to the hospital. So I think we're ready. Let's rock and roll.
Ready to go.
Daddy Brad and Daddy Clay, you guys are in the park, and all of a sudden you hear Junior scream from the sandbox. You run over and you see that Junior's got a laceration on his arm. It's about 3/4 of an inch long, and it's bleeding just a little bit. Do you stay or do you go?
3/4. This sounds like a small, minor injury. 3/4 not bleeding that much. That's a stay for me. That's a no-brainer. Shake it off, kid. We'll throw a Band-Aid on that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Less than an inch, not much blood. I'm staying. I don't want to go to the emergency room it takes hours.
You guys are absolutely wrong. The American Academy of Pediatrics tells us that if the cut is a 1/2 inch long or longer, if it's deep, or if it's bleeding heavily, you got to go to the hospital. Sorry, guys.
You know, they call that a lac on ER. You got a lac.
A lac?
Yeah. Well, it's good to know, because I would have thought that's like, just rub some dirt in that, you're fine.
Yeah. Spit on it.
But now it's good to know.
Gotta go.
Smaller cuts. Need to go.
1/2 inch or bigger. Gotta go.
Good info. Thanks.
Yeah.
Daddy Clay and Daddy Brad, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Your child seems a little bit fussy. You go and take the temperature, and your 1-year-old has a temperature of 101 degrees. Do you stay or do you go?
101, a little bit fussy. I don't know. That doesn't seem terrible. I got to keep a good eye on that, but I'm just going to watch that for a little while. Maybe go a little Motrin or something.
Yeah, I'm going to stay. 2 a.m., 101, give a little Motrin, Just kind of go back to bed. Listen.
Well, actually, guys, you're both right, but I'm a little confused. Daddy Brad, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You're not going to watch your kid. You're going to go back to bed, and do you understand the rules of the game?
I think I'll change my answer to I'll watch the child.
Nothing like sticking by your guns there.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. Yellow. That means maybe. Watch. Make a decision later.
We're going to keep a close eye. So when does this situation go from yellow, keeping a close eye? When do you go green? When do you head for the hospital with the kid that's got the fever?
Well, Daddy Clay, that's an excellent question. So Daddy Brad, you're actually going to want to retake that temperature every 4 hours. And if the temperature is over 103, you got to come to the hospital. The other things that we look for are dehydration. And so if your child has signs and symptoms of dehydration, if they're delirious at all, if they have any seizures, those are medical emergencies. You got to go to the hospital then.
Sometimes I find that even if it's not a green go to the hospital situation, sometimes I like to leave the house, because the middle of the night, the sick, it's kind of a bad scene.
It's a bad scene, but have you seen the nuts at the emergency room at 2 a.m.?
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, feverish kid, 101 degrees. We've gone yellow.
Yellow. Watch him. Go to bed.
Daddy Clay and Daddy Brad, it's a Saturday afternoon, it's 4 o'clock, and your 8-year-old has just returned from a birthday party. They get home, they say they're not feeling very well, and they begin to vomit, and they puke about 3 or 4 times. Do you stay or do you go?
Okay, this one I know because it's happened to me. And the kid came home and he threw up blue icing everywhere. Blue icing, I mean, you could see the Skittles in the vomit. And I'm not going anywhere on that. I'm staying right at home. Let him sort that out.
Yeah, I think that's bad cake, man. And especially 4 on a Saturday afternoon, football games, I'm staying home.
Daddy Clay and Daddy Brad, you guys are right. So when do we go with vomiting? Well, of course, the answer is if the child is vomiting, you make sure they don't eat or drink anything at all for the next 2 hours. And if the vomiting subsides after that, you're okay. If not, if they're withheld liquids and food for 2 hours and they continue to vomit, or if they're feverish, they show any signs and symptoms of dehydration, you got to bring them in. So good job, gentlemen.
That was good to know. My rule on vomiting is, up till now that I've heard Nurse Mark, but before that it was like, as long as the kids are throwing up in the toilet, it's not an emergency. If the kid starts throwing up anywhere else, that's a problem.
On the couch?
Yeah, because if they can't get up and make it, but now I know. Yeah. Now, Nurse Mark has helped us learn a lot of useful things today.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Nurse Mark.
Hey dads, thanks for playing Should We Stay or Should We Go? Looking at medical issues facing the dads of today. Please, if you have any questions about medical issues, contact your family doctor. Today's information can be found on the American Academy of Pediatric website, which you can link to from www.dadlabs.com. We'll see you next time.
If you have a fever and you're delusional and you were to drink all of these, what color would your vomit be?
Is it beer?
Yeah. Is that purple? When you do, it may be something else you don't want.